Hi, welcome back to Rich and SJ. I thought I'd tidy up this little trolley that we picked up from a local auction. I say trolley, it's sort of a coffee table and magazine rack on wheels. I don't want to change the look of this little thing, I just want to give it a little bit of a spruce up and a clean. So before I start cleaning, I'm going to take it apart. Now I knew the trolley was mid-century, but it wasn't until I turned it over that I realised it was Danish. The original audio is awful, so you've got me doing a voiceover. I thought I would only be able to take the magazine rack off the table, trolley thing, whatever it is. But added bonus, when I took the screws out of the top of the legs, the tabletop came off as well. So I was able to get good access to all of it. I marked one leg with the corresponding side of its tabletop, then got to cleaning. I used a 50-50 solution of white vinegar and water in a spray bottle, along with a scouring pad and a couple of old rags just to wipe off the dirt and moisture. There was no finish to speak of on this trolley. I think it was probably Danish oil originally. So by using the green scourer, I wasn't actually removing any of the finish, I was just removing the dirt. It was pretty dirty. There was a couple of visible scratches, so my next step was to attempt to remove those with a damp cloth and hot iron. I always find this stage a little bit intimidating. I don't want to burn the timber, so I never know how long to leave the iron on for. I persevered though, and in the end, I got rid of most of the little nicks and dings. The next stage was to do a little veneer repair. Over time, it looked like the veneer had maybe just dried out a touch, and there was a real faint line between two strips of veneer. I ran in a very thin bead of super glue, a touch of light sanding over the top, and as if by magic, the gap disappeared. That done, I gave the whole tabletop a very light sanding. Then a final wipe over with white spirit before I applied the final finish. Just look how the colour pops. That's pretty much what it's going to look like when the finish is on. Rather than use a Danish oil finish, I decided to use a hard wax oil finish. So I used Treatex Ultra Matte Hard Wax. I just followed the instructions on the tin, although I did apply with a cloth rather than a brush or a roller, and I left it for the specified amount of time before I gave it its second coat. While I waited for the hard wax oil to dry, I decided to get on and clean the metalwork. I initially thought it was just gold-painted metal of some sort until I started to clean, and then I realised it was actually brass. I did start out using brasso and soon got fed up with that, it was taking so long. So I ended up using something called copper brill, something that I found in the shed, and it was amazing. It just took all the tarnish and dirt and age off it in no time. I did put a time lapse on though, because I figured that no one would want to watch me just cleaning brass for hours and hours and hours. Didn't really take that long, it just felt like it. Just look at that shine. Next it was the screw heads. Then it was the turn of the casters. Before reattaching the legs for the final coat of hard wax oil. Once the hard wax oil had dried, it was time to refit the magazine rack. Making sure all the screw heads were aligned. Not that I've got OCD or anything, I just like to see things that are all nice and aligned. Then a quick whip over with a duster, and we're ready for the final reveal. Strangely, the top still looks a little bit marked on video, but in person it really doesn't. So I'm not sure what the camera's picked up that the naked eye doesn't, but I'm happy with it overall. It was a nice little project and a good little video to edit.